back to this week's episode of AMA Friday with Amy Miller, recruiting in yoga pants. So we're going to talk about employee referrals. Layoff season is upon us again, still, whatever, and it means competition is fierce. And I get it. People are stressed. There's a lot of people on the market. And you're probably thinking, how do I get a leg up? How do I get to the front of the line? How do I make sure a recruiter or a hiring manager is actually going to see my resume? I know I'm going to go spam everybody and their brother for a referral. This is a terrible idea, and I'm going to tell you why. I stumbled across someone was very mean to me and showed me a TikTok of some individual who has never recruited, talking about how you never ever apply directly. You always find somebody that works at a company, and there was like a website that you would go to bother people about that. Like, it was just gross. It was just, ugh. I'm really mad at the person who made me watch that. It was terrible. And I'm going to tell you why. All right. So I've talked about employee referrals before. It's not a new topic here on the channel, but I want to break down two kinds of referrals and what it looks like on the inside. What I see when you are referred to one of my open roles. Okay. Networking lead, referral. These are different, okay? These are not the same thing. A networking lead is an opportunity for anyone who works at the organization, to upload a resume, a LinkedIn profile, whatever, of someone they don't know. There's a mechanism for that, y'all. This is a good thing. You can refer people you don't know. I don't care. But they're not true referrals. They're networking leads, and that's different. Okay, so what is a networking lead? This is when, again, the internal employee logs into the internal careers page, hits networking lead, upload your information, and says, I don't know this person, but they're interested. They might be good for this. I can tag them to a specific role, or I can just put them in the general pool, which just goes into the database. But basically, I'm just like, yeah, might be a good fit. I don't know. Go for it. Here's our info. That's it. Nothing wrong with that. It's just not the flex that some ding dong on TikTok thinks it is. That's all I'm saying. That's my whole point there. Okay, we're going to come back to that in a moment. So an actual employee referral, then, this is where I know this person. I'm raising my hand and saying, you should talk to Bob. Bob's great. I know Bob. I worked with him for 5 years at such and such company. He helped me ship this feature, whatever. So a referral, a true referral, which, by the way, is often bonus eligible, that's the person that you're putting your name on. That's the person that you're saying, I will vouch for this individual. Once again, I'm either putting them in the general candidate pool, or I'm attaching them to a specific role. I think that Bob would be great for that job. Okay, are you with me? So the end result is the same. I'm either in the general pool, or I'm attached to a specific role. I'm either somebody that is just a random person whose information is uploaded, or somebody who I have an advocate on the inside who is willing to speak up on my behalf and say nice things about me. Where do those two people go? The same place. So if you are in the general pool, this is where you can be found. A recruiter may come along and do a Boolean string in their ATS, or use some filters and drop downs to find a certain kind of engineer in a certain kind of location with a certain kind of skill. We can do those things. We should always be searching our ATS first. I have a video on that. I'll actually link to it up above, how recruiters search their database. And you might be found in this, and you'll be marked as a networking lead. It's like, oh, okay, this is somebody who's interested, who ask somebody to upload their stuff, most likely, right? So that's a good thing. I look at that through the lens of, this person's open to hearing from me, kind of like the open to work banner, right? That's a good sign. I'm gonna take that. I'm gonna take that profile and make that call. If you are applied directly to a role, so this is again, whether as a networking lead or as a direct referral, I've been attached to a specific requisition, I'm again still seeing it through that lens, like, oh, this is somebody who was referred or networked. This is somebody who might be interested. Low-hanging fruit, right? Love that. But here the difference is I can actually call the person who referred you for more information. Oh, we're going to talk about that. All right, hold that thought. So me, the recruiter, I'm looking at my list of applicants, and I personally look at them in the order that they come in, right? So the oldest first, and then I just try to, check every day, keep up on top of it so it doesn't get backlogged. And I'll look at your resume, and I'm looking through that lens of basic qualifications. I want to make sure that there's a fit for the role. That never changes, y'all. I never, ever, ever, at least at the first pass, look at an applicant in any other way than, does this person fit this role? If they do, wonderful, we're pushing forward. If they don't, then I might go, what if, maybe there's a different role, or maybe they're more experienced or less experienced or better for this or better for that. I'll make those calls as well, but I'm starting from the place of, does this person fit this role? Whether you've applied, whether you're referred, whether you're a networking lead, or whether one of my sourcers went and found you, I don't care. I'm looking through the same lens at all of these applications. So you may be asking yourself, why bother? What good does an employee referral do for me if Amy's just putting me in the bucket with everybody else and looking at my resume like everybody else is? Do you want me to be fair or not? Do you want me to give folks a chance or not? Y'all gotta make up your minds. Anyway, here's where an employee referral is valuable. There's two things. Number one, knowing someone in the organization can help you prepare for those next steps with the organization. So interview prep, understanding what compensation maybe looks like, getting a sense of the culture of the team, the organization, the company, whatever. What's the manager like if they know them, if it's a smaller company, things like that. So having those folks on the inside that can kind of help give you some of that information is helpful. As your recruiter, I'm going to tell you all those things anyway. But I will often have conversations with candidates who are referred, and I'll be like, hey, go talk to your friend, have them validate what I'm saying. They may have a different perspective. They're seeing the world through the lens of their experience with this organization, but feel free to go validate that. I'm still going to tell you everything that I think you should know, but you have that insider point of view, right? That might be helpful. The other thing, the second thing that referral can do for you is actually go speak up on your behalf. This can be very helpful. You still have to be qualified. We're not skipping that step, y'all. I don't care how many ding-dongs make TikToks about it. We're not doing it. And if we are able to check that box, that referrer can call me, can call the hiring manager, can say, hey, just so you know, I put my friend's info in. I think they're amazing. You should talk to them. Absolutely true story. And variations of this story have happened to me multiple times in my career, but let me give you a quick one. Had a referral come in, and the person ended up, obviously they were attached to the role. And before I even had a chance to review the application, the referrer called me up. And it's somebody that I worked with a lot. So, we all knew each other, small company. And this engineer calls me up, is like, hey, I just submitted my friend for this job. I think they're amazing. You really need to talk to them. I'm like, okay, let me go dig it up. I'm working on it. It's on my list for tomorrow. Let me go find it. I will sometimes go out of order every now and again. And I'm like, oh, okay, yeah, this resume looks good. Yeah, let me put them in the, list for tomorrow when I send everybody to the hiring manager. Thanks for the heads up. Everything checks out. Send it to the hiring manager. By the way, hiring manager, this person was referred by so-and-so. And the hiring manager was on the fence. This was interesting. The hiring manager was on the fence. So we had a decent pool of people I know it was a good little group of folks. And the hiring manager's like, well, I didn't see this on the resume, and I'm not sure about that. And I just said, look, obviously you get to decide. I've told y'all this before. You get to decide, who you ultimately want to interview. And I understand that sometimes you have to make tough decisions and shortlists. I think we should talk to this person. They come highly recommended. They have the skills. They have the abilities we're looking for. Let me know. Next day, hiring manager's like, hey, the referrer came to my desk. They said if I don't talk to their person, they're never speaking to me again. I'm like, well, that escalated quickly. No, it was a joke. They were joking around. But the referrer was able to go nudge and was able to be like, hey, I already told Amy, but I really think this person's great and you should talk to them. Now, I could make up a happy ending here. And I could be like, and then we hired him and everyone lived happily ever after. And that would not be true. So as much as I would love to lie to you and tell you that we hired the person because they were referred, didn't work out that way. What did happen though, is we did interview them. We did get them through the process. And it was in part because the referrer was willing to kind of raise her hand and go, hey, I really think you guys should have a conversation. So that's the benefit, right? So I don't want y'all to get it twisted. I don't want you to think that there's either no value at all because everybody goes into the same database, or that it's a cheat code, because it's not. Neither of those things are true. The truth is somewhere really in that big old gray area in the middle. There's a benefit to having someone put in your information, kind of getting you, guaranteed visibility into the system. There's absolutely a benefit to having someone, speak up on your behalf and say nice things about you. Look into Google IRs, internal referrals. Maybe we'll talk about that another time. We're over time, so I want to wrap this up, but yeah, that's a whole other beast when we're talking about referrals. So write that down. We'll talk about that another time. So there is a benefit there. The key, as always, show us that you are qualified through the accomplishments on your resume and your application, but don't sleep on the value of having a trusted resource and advocate on the inside speaking up on your behalf. That can be very helpful. And if the hiring managers may be wavering a little bit, can push them over the edge to your side. Okay, so yes, if you have the benefit of knowing people at an organization and you're confident in asking for that help and asking for someone to refer you, take advantage of that. If you don't have a relationship, go ahead and ask somebody, are you comfortable just uploading my information as a networking lead? Would that be okay? Can you introduce me to someone else at the organization? You can ask those questions, of course, and your level of, I guess, being comfortable with that, or the other person's level of comfort in taking that request may vary. It's okay, but please, please, please understand that nothing trumps your proof through your resume, through your application data, that you are qualified for the role. So that's the number one thing for you to worry about. Getting referred, leveraging your contacts, all those kinds of things can be a nice add-on. So if you can take advantage of it, please do. But please stop listening to people who've never done this work and who are making funny videos about how you can just go bug random strangers and it supposedly helps. It actually annoys people, is what it really does. People, 1 in 100 might fall for it, but a lot of people are going to be annoyed with you, and that's not a good look. So just saying. All right, y'all, I hope that clears that up a little bit. If you have questions on this, drop them down below. I will happily answer anything I can on this topic, and we will see you next week.